Right, welcome to episode 3. A bit different to normal because got me talking to the camera, which is something I generally try to avoid because I'm not a fan of talking heads in videos myself. But just wanted to say why this video is going to be a little bit different to some of the more recent ones. I've been struggling to film me putting a roll cage in because no matter where I put the camera, all you get to see is either my back or everything's just so far away you can't see what's going on at all anyway. So what I'm going to switch to is doing some bits on the bench showing what's involved in shaping the tube, welding it, that sort of thing, and some tips and tricks I've learnt over doing a couple of cages now. It's going to make the continuity a bit weird though in places because I'll have different clothes on one minute to the next, and one minute I'll have haven't shaved for a week, next minute I have, but I'm sure you'll get the idea as we go along. Hopefully once we get past this stage of fitting the roll cage etc, we'll be into bolting bits on and a bit more interesting stuff like fitting engines, doing wiring, suspension, all that sort of stuff, all the sort of things I've done lots and lots of times before, so it should go a lot faster. Right, let's crack on. Today we're going to be fitting the roll cage. Whether we'll get the whole thing done in this episode or not, I don't know, but we'll give it a go. As you can see, I've got the main hoop in there, trial fitted in. It's all going in there quite nicely. Quite tight to the car there, it's good. I can weld it on there and then weld it on there as well, give it some nice structural support. As you can see from the bottom, I'm going to have to trim these down a bit because it's a bit of an angle here, so that's not going to work. And obviously I've got to put the 3mm foot plates in as required in the regulations anyway, so I'll just make a box to go around that to completely level that out. One thing I wanted to talk about was the different ways of actually fitting a roll cage, because the biggest issue you have about any roll cage is up here. We have the other bars. I'm not actually get the camera in the right place. You see, you have a bar coming across there for the roof, the front screen, and sort of off the back of that for the rear stays. And getting up into there, so you should weld it all the way around as you have to. It's quite difficult. Multiple ways of handling that. What you can do, you tend to do on those sort of professional race cars, is they take the roof skin off and then weld from the top. With this, with all the reinforcing bits, that would be quite tricky to do. You can also, as happened with my first car, I'll swing around here and do it from the front. Imagine this is the front windscreen bar coming down. On the Puma, which I originally built, that was a kit roll cage. All we had to do on that one was actually cut holes in the floor, drop the roll cage through the floor, weld the top, lift it back up again, and weld in a plate underneath. And it would be just about possible on this one, but a little bit tricky. So what I'm going to do is the same as on the other car, is these bars will be up on a box, make up a 3mm steel box. They'll be up there, so you can tack everything together, and then you can either pull the box, I'm not sure which way I'm going to do it yet, pull the box out, or just pull the roll cage off the box and it drops down, and then you can get to the top bars and weld them all in that way. So we'll see what happens. I'm undecided at the moment, just using these rubber blocks as spacers to get the idea of exactly where to put things. But let's crack on and see where we get to. I'm not sure how on earth I'm going to film any of this because I need two hands to do all of it, but we'll see how we go. Dreading cleaning this car, it's absolutely filthy, but we'll worry about that later. What I'm doing at the moment is making up plates, because the bottom of the main hoop fits about here, which is an angle. So I'd have to put a plate across there and then angle the bottom of the foot, so it's a lot easier just to box all this in, so the pipe can just fit straight up and down there. So done that side over there, is already just made a simple cardboard template for this side. Fits it up there, so I've just got to mark up the edges now, file that around there, file it back so it fits in neatly. So that's the next job. I'll get on with that and come back once that's finished. Okay, that's good enough fit for now. Just take that out, clean it up a bit more so to get a decent weld on it, and clean up underneath, then get it all welded. Right, hope this comes out okay on camera because it looks a little bit dark in here, but we'll see. This is one of the rear suspension turrets, and basically you can have a angle going up there towards the main hoop, and then there's going to be a bar going across there, join onto the other turret. So to have something to fix onto that, you need to put a tube on there, so we can come off of there, come off of there. Well, we can't put it straight on top of that because the metal's probably not thick enough. So that's what these are for. So make it one of those for each side, and put those on top of there, all welded up all around here. I think this is nice strong mounting for the picking up a tube across there and the angled tube going up there. Right, done one plate for the rear strut tower. 3mm steel as regulations demand. Made a paper template to start off with, just to get rough positioning of holes and cardboard and everything. So now I can transfer that one onto a nice fresh bit of steel, and I'll film how to do the holes and all that bit. Basic shape roughed out. Doesn't have to be exact because it's going to be welded all the way around the outside anyway, so 2 or 3mm here makes no real difference as long as it's got a good connection. The next thing I do is cut out these 3 holes. Again, doesn't need to be exact because all the holes are oversized and be welded around the inside, so just put an approximate dot. Okay, that's all the pilot holes drilled, ready for the next stage. I basically don't drill the holes, I use sheet metal punches because I find that works better. 3mm is the maximum they can work in, so does the job. I'll set those up next. These are multi-part. Got a Allen key high tensile bolt which goes through there, put that through the hole, and on the other side is this cutting disc which pulls through the material. Just like that, nice clean cut. Let's repeat that for the other two. Right, that's one side of the rear suspension turret finished. Needs to be cleaned up a bit still, but you get the idea. This side is where the rear angle comes up, and this side is a straight across bar to tie the two suspension turrets together, and then there'll be another angle bar coming up this way from that bar as well. So get the idea. Right, obviously one of the major parts of building a roll cage is joining tubes together. A couple of example bits I cut here. If you imagine that's a vertical bit of tube in the car, and then we've got a horizontal bit which needs to join onto it. And as you can see, that is not an ideal joint doing it that way. So what we have to do is cut a semicircle essentially out of there so it fits nicely onto that. And to do that, we have this tool here. Essentially just put a piece of tubing through there, clamp it down, drill on the end, drill through there. Then we get a nice cut, which is just the first part of it. There's a bit of preparation to do after that, but that's the essential side of it. So I'll just set the camera up and I'll show you how that's done. Right, so we don't use too much material. We don't want to put this bar all the way across there, because all it's going to do is just waste material. So this is 45mm tube, which is the recommended size and the regulations. So what I like to do is put about 15mm. Camera tripod's in the way a bit, but I'm sure we'll manage somehow. So let's take that off a little bit. That's about 15mm. Rule of thumb's about a third from what I've seen other people say. Right. So standard drill on the end. Cutting compound. Cut away. Right, see we've got a nice cut on the end of there now. Let's just release it from there. I'm used to doing all these things one-handed. Right, and you can see that then goes up against there. Fits a lot better. But that's not the end of it. We've got to prepare, because at the moment, if I was just to weld that, the weld is just going to bite onto these thin parts on the corner. What I need to do is use a flat wheel and bevel all the way around the inside of there, so the weld goes across the full thickness of the joint. So just do that to show what I mean. Right, so that's that all belled around the edges. Hope you can see the difference. It's, I can barely see it on the camera myself, but it's quite a small screen. So just basically give it a reverse so the weld can get into there, so you're not just burning away the outer edge. And the next thing to do is preparation of the tube itself in terms of cleanliness, because you never have the metal too clean for welding. And you can see inside there's quite a bit of rubbish in there, so what I use is isopropyl alcohol just to clean everything out. So we'll do that next, then get set up for some welding. Okay, now to weld two pieces together. I set up a device there, so it goes on like that. So you just need to put a couple of tacks on there to hold it, and then you can talk about welding the whole way around. I'm a little not that familiar with welding. You want to get nice short tacks to make sure your wires cut. It's very hard to do in front of the camera. Show your wires cut nice and short so you get a big bubble of wire come out to start off with. So let's fire things up. Quite nice small neat tacks that way, you can easily weld over. I'm just going to weld from here down to here and talk about the challenges you actually get in reality inside the car. So there's a quick little run around there. Now, this is what I struggled with in the very first cage I ever did on the Puma, was the tight spots. And you can imagine on a car, and you have like bits like that, so you can't really get in there properly. With even a small torch like this, you can't get in there properly to get a weld all the way around, which you must do. I mean, it's not just regulations, it's also common sense and safety that you've got to weld all the way around the whole tube, so you've always got to be thinking about access and how to get in there. The mistake I used to make was I used to try get in there as close as I could, put loads of stick out on the torch, so it's like, and then try and work my way around from there, which is completely the wrong thing to do. What you want to do is keep your stick out reasonably short for as long as you can. And that, and you work your way around and then to pull away as you get further down, and you can even up your gas flow there to make sure you're getting gas coverage, but a lot of the time I find you don't need to. You can, unless it's very tight and you're out here somewhere, you don't really need to. But once you've got the puddle going, is to form the puddle, go round, and the puddle will flow into and go further round. Then if you start there and it's cold, you can't get the puddle to flow. Whereas this way you can get it to push it around. I'll see if I can do that. And I'll explain it, I'll probably completely cock it up. Which I did. Try and reach around the camera. It's I can't see what I'm doing because I'm reaching around the camera, but you get the idea. Is if you're going around here like this, and as you get around and you get to a stage where if the metal was there, you couldn't go any further. You just pull out a little bit further and just coax the weld puddle around there. But you've got the double whammy of no room and trying to work yourself around the camera as well. It's even harder. So I put the lights on, and I haven't figured out to set the exposure on this camera properly, and it just goes white if I put the lights on, so I can't really see what I'm doing, but hopefully that explains it. Right, welded in the plate for the front leg to go into. I just mocked up the size of the box that I need for it to sit on, so I've got to basically make a metal box that size and blend it in and everything to get it to sit on there. I'll get a nice tight around the windscreen frame then. So the next job is to make that box. Okay, there's the front foot in position. Sit on there, and then I'll weld onto there as well to make it nice and strong for the front. It's just a fairly simple bent shape. It's welded inside and out. Be welded all up here, all around there, around the front there, to all tie in. Right, that's probably where we're going to have to leave it there at the moment, because there's waiting for some more materials. It's been a bit of a perennial problem with this build, is waiting for materials. But we'll call it a day there for this video. The next video we should have a fully fitted roll cage, and hopefully this is all painted. And then we can move on to some more exciting things like building up subframes and stuff like that, because I've had enough of grinding and cutting and welding. Bye.